Hello all, 27th of March 2018, and you're here with Dan in Essex, UK. So what I'm doing today is taking some grapevine cuttings. So this vine here is a variety called Muscat Blanc, a very great variety to grow outside in the UK climate. They're like a black purple grape with seeds, and they get very sweet, nice taste. If you check through my grape playlist, you'll see the huge harvests that this vine has produced in years before, so certainly worth taking cuttings from. And as I stated before, they grow well outside in the UK. They will benefit from a southwest facing position, south facing wall, etc. But you could of course grow one in a polytunnel or greenhouse. But if you want to grow a black purple grape outside in a climate such as the UK, you might do well with this variety, because I certainly have. So there you go. What you do is you find a piece of last year's growth, okay, and you need to find about 4 buds. And what I like to do is, so I'm up here, look, the end bit there, I like to just snip the end off because it's probably dead. So what I do is I find four buds, so 1, 2, 3 and 1 down here. So what I'm going, there we go, there it is. So what I'm going to do is simply seather it just below that 4th bud. Okay, so there's my cutting there. Now what you must do with this is you place it, there you go, look at that, lovely and green. What you do is you place it, you could even put this straight in the ground if you wanted to. So you'd get your bottom 2 buds, 1 there and 1 there, and what you do is you bury 2 buds in the ground and leave 2 above. And it's highly likely that the buds underneath, will form roots, and the buds above will then leaf out and then grow away. So very much a thing worth doing is to take grapevine cuttings. You can get established vines, you can make your own established vines, rather I should say, for very little money. Let me show you one. Okay, so this vine here was taken from a cutting a few years ago, probably 5 or 6 years ago, maybe a tad longer. But you look at the size of the main stem, trunk, whatever, and the amount of growth that this has had on it. And it's been pruned a lot as well. Of course, the vines at this time of year don't look anything, simply because they're not leafed out and there's no fruit present yet. But these produce very large crops of grapes indeed. So that's one thing you could do. And with regards to taking the cutting, I'm going to do a video on how to get them to root, etc. in a pot. But you can put them into a pot, you can put them into the ground. They tend to root readily. Generally, if you take 10, 7 or 8 of them will root. I've certainly never had any need to use rooting hormone. Now this is a thing you can do. You can, if you're pruning one, you can take off big lengths like this of it and just ensure it's a bit of last year's growth, and you've got plenty of buds there. So these 2 will be above the ground and these 2 will be below when I set the cutting. So 2 there and 2 there. So if that roots out, that will be of 1 vine, and then another one here. So you can take, if someone wants a grapevine pruned and they're prepared to give you the cuttings, you can root your own grapevines, and as you've seen before, they can make some very good vines in the following years, which will give you massive crops indeed of fruit. Okay, so I'm going to take another one from here. So let me show you. 1, 2, 3, 4. But what I'm going to do, 5, 6, 7, 8. What I'm going to do is, yes, I am in effect cutting off this year's grapes off of this vine, but the person who has custodian of this vine, shall we say, he's not worried about the crop from it. So there we go. I'm going to take a vine here. So there we go. So you get the idea. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I can get 2 cuttings from there. Of course, when you root the cutting, you need to make sure it's pointed the right way up. Otherwise, of course, it will not root. Okay, this is the old favourite now. Spoke a lot about this vine in particular, Lakemont seedless. Absolutely, this is probably, this vine has been pruned heavily over the years, and it always produces, every year. So check out my videos for Lakemont seedless. I won't speak too much about it because I've said it all before, but check out my great playlist and you'll see just how good this variety is. So what I'm doing, I'm taking another cutting here from, here we go, once again Lakemont seedless, and that's the nice end. So I'm going to have a cutting from that. Just very emotionally attached to this variety and this vine in particular. So I certainly say if you're going to Lakemont seedless, absolutely fantastic vine, beautiful sweet green grape, almost honey-like when they are ripened properly. Okay, so once again I'm going to look for another bit of last year's growth on this vine. There we go, I have them here. So that's, make sure you know what you're growing, so you want to keep them separate. I've got Lakemont seedless here and some Muscat Blanc here. Okay, so this one here might be a tad late to take a cutting from this, but we'll see how we do. Now this is white currant, variety white Versailles, or Versailles, I don't know how you're supposed to say it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one from here. The same rule applies with regards to rooting these cuttings. 2 buds below the ground and 2 above, where which the bottom proceed to form roots and the tops leaf out and then grow on. Oh dear, hang on, I've got water on the, here we go. So as you can see, this one's started to bud out. But so I'm hoping I can get 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 3 or 4 cuttings off of this excellent variety of white currant, white Versailles. Very sweet and nice taste. Okay, so I'm going to have another one here. So this can be, yeah, it's enough. This can be a very good way of acquiring cuttings. It's a very, if you can find someone who's kind enough to give them to you, and you know, just imagine it in 5 years, this little stick here. So think of the cuttings I'm going to get from that. 1, 2, 3. So I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 potentially from that one, and maybe 3 from that. So imagine these in a few years, and of course, you know how much you can pay for one of these. You can pay a fair bit for a mature bush. Of course, you will get your fruit quicker with a mature bush, but if you're prepared to wait. And what I'm going to do actually, because this one here, I can see this is broken, so a bird has probably sat on this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have that, because it's not going to do any good there. So that's enough there. So that's white currant, white Versailles. Okay, and here we have another one, white currant, white Versailles. What am I going to have? Bit of last year's growth, same as the grapes. Donk. Right, that's enough. So you get the idea of what you do. So the rule is last year's growth, clean cuts, 4 buds at least, 2 below the ground and 2 above, facing the right way. Now that is a lot of the rule of taking cuttings, and this is true with regards to white currants, red currants, black currants, grapevines. So yeah, just think gooseberries as well. So you've got 5 or so plants that I have said that you can take cuttings from then, and I know this is true from previous experience because I've done it, and this is one method that you can employ in order to help yourself get well, you could say for free really, bushes. Just to think that taking this here, cut 4 off and put 2 below the ground in there and 2 above, and you can root yourself some beautiful cuttings. So if you're new to my channel and this is the first video you've seen of mine, and you want to follow my work, please feel free to subscribe, or indeed if you're not new to my channel, please feel free to, whatever, if you're viewing it, like, share and subscribe, and I intend to make some lovely plants out of these. Take care, speak soon.